Yeah, we sure do. Hawthorn taking on Brisbane from Tasmania on the Sunday rub. The Blues are flying, the Tigers are back, the Saints are going well, and we'll get stuck into all that. We'll speak to Richmond star Shane Edwards. Tom Browne's going to join us today. Hitch Your Caravan is back, even though the Jay Clark, and we'll get into that in a minute, is not here today. And we'll all have the Sunday Rub quiz and Truth or Line, which has probably been our best news segment of the year, Truth or Line, when we delve deep into the mind of Ross Lyon, and we'll get off the top a little bit. Some of Ross's best work as I work my way around the desk. And first of all, the greatest player the game has ever seen.
Oh, thank you, Brownie.
Yeah.
Oh, hello.
I'm waiting for the punchline, Brownie. Go on.
Here's Lee Matthews, but he works at AW, so we'll go to Duck.
Lee is the greatest VFL player of all time, Brownie. There's no doubt about that. It's good to be here, Brownie, and I'm glad you said that. That's one of my favourite segments, because that hits your trailer or whatever that is. That's seriously.
That's rhubarb.
Now that Jay-Z's not here, we could probably give that we could park the trailer for a week, probably. No, good to be here. Good to be here. I'll tell you what, you said a number of weeks ago now, Joey, that, the 8 might be set. We've got a couple of good teams just outside the 8 as of right now. So will that change? I tell you what, it's shaping up to be a very tight contest, isn't it, from 6 through?
Might ask you who you think is vulnerable out of those teams in the top 8 at the moment.
And the greatest coach to ever win a premiership is Ross Lyon. He was unlucky a couple of times.
He need to execute, Brownie.
Every time
I look at Joey, I think, did he miss one?
Great to be here, Greg, too. Obviously played out from fullback more than any other man in the history of the game is Lee Montagna.
Hello, Nathan. Nice to be here. I didn't see, I must admit, a lot of footy last night. I was just glued to the election coverage, so we'll have to keep me up to date on the footy. Who won the Dreamtime game, Duck? I didn't see it. I was just glued to my seat watching Elbow. That was taking all my attention.
And I find it extraordinary.
How can the footy... How can the footy from Channel 7 get shifted off for the election? On 7, mate, or 7 something last night, weren't we?
One of our secondary channels, Duck.
Because of the election?
Because of the election.
That's
There's a broader market, I think, with the election.
Well, the voice you just heard is that of Tom Browne.
Exclusive
and
Browne.
It is with great...
Intrigue?
It's a good word. The fact that Jay-Z Clark is a big part of this show, but I've never heard a man who's had more days off than Jay-Z Clark. You've all played with footy at footy clubs where you've got a guy that, my back's a bit tight today, or we're going to do 500s, do we? Just a little bit tight in the hamstring, and there's a lot of players that go off. Jay-Z seems to be one of those players at the moment who just leaves you in the lurch, and we've had to bring in Tom very late, but a great replacement too.
Well, this is a man, let's not forget Jay-Z, that when Pendles broke a nail, he thought that he should have been awarded the Purple Heart or whatever. Remember, he was saying,
courageous.
How courageous is Pendles. This is unbelievable. And we all love the champion from Geelong, Danger. But yesterday, Danger, and we all know he's been crooked. By the way, he's banged up. We'll probably talk about that, Tom, in your news or in a segment at some point. But what I'm saying, Jay-Z yesterday was just fascinated that Danger could even get out onto the ground. He's going, look at him. He has to have electrolytes.
Well, Tom's a bit more educated than us.
low.
You might be. What's that syndrome you get when you're faking illnesses?
Yeah,
they label it something. So
hypochondriac.
Hypochondriac.
Well,
Yeah,
Jay-Z,
I like
if
that.
you're listening,
Yes.
if the cap fits.
Well,
You know what
it's a
they
big
say in
opportunity.
this- they say
I
in
feel
this
like there's a
business, you
seat
never-
open on the Sunday rub at the moment because of Jay's not able to turn up every week. And also, I know you're going toe-to-toe with a few others at the moment, so you may as well throw him to your list. You got rid of Steve O at Channel 7. Mitch Clear is the other one that you're just trying to keep underneath you. So you're doing a great job, and we're very happy to have you today.
What you do in this business is you step in, you fill in, and then get a bit of popular support going on social media, which I could struggle on, by the way. And then you're a chance of winning the permanent spot.
You know what I
like the
love,
Teal
Tom? when I-
candidates. You've got 3 million backing you to run a
Some
campaign.
independence.
when I do go on social media and I listen to your stuff, and then how many parody accounts of Tom Browne are there? I reckon there's at least 5 or 6 who try and decipher what you think about and what you mean in your tweets.
There's at least one prominent one, but it's got so crazy now where the second and third parody accounts, people accuse them of being a fake me. And so you're definitely doing this. It's draining, honestly. By the end of Saturday when I read all
You're faking being yourself.
Do you keep up
honestly.
with your burner accounts and the fake burners and who you are?
In
And all?
the interests of mental health and my wife's good advice, I've stopped reading it.
It is easy.
Good idea,
It'd be quite easy, though, Tom, to throw out a couple of little
Now,
things,
Duck,
making
don't.
out that it's not you when it really is you.
You'll enable some of those people. people's suggestions. Just
But we're open-minded to you. You know, if you put your best foot forward today, Tommy, well, we're open-minded here.
And speaking of media and social media, you've been sucked into it today, Duck, because you don't tweet a lot.
Yes.
So I do follow you. I follow you on Twitter, and you don't see a lot Wayne Carey 27 come up. But all of a sudden today, you've dived into the world of Kane Cornes.
You've
You couldn't
sucked
help
in. You've been
yourself.
sucked
You
into
got
Kane's
in.
comments.
And this is exactly what Kane wants. He wants you, people like you, and you are the greatest player in the AFL era, as we know, but you've been sucked in by Kane Cornes.
I was sitting there watching your show this morning.
Great show.
And two things jumped out at me. There's you and Lloydie and even Tony.
Purple.
All sitting there,
Kane.
and Kane, all sitting there talking about Essendon's response last night and the fact that they flew the flag and they got in and they supported one another. And there was a concerted effort last night. I thought there was a difference. Okay, they just weren't good enough, still not moving the ball as they should. So there's a lot of reasons why. But I thought the effort, flying the flag, playing for one another, I thought that was all there. I thought that was quite evident. And here we got all these blokes, and let's be honest, none of you blokes had any of that in you, or have got any of. You wouldn't intimidate a bloody little, I don't know, a little meowy cat, like sitting there, like you know, there's no intimidation. In actual fact, Purple's the most intimidating person on that, because you're intimidated by the power of the pen. Is more intimidating than you blokes, and yet you're all sat in there talking like you know.
You didn't buy it?
You're on the tough pills. And then
I stuck up for him.
Yeah, and then I know you did. But then Kane came out with the most ridiculous thing I've heard for a while.
What did he say?
Well, we know that Danger's banged up. He is banged up.
Yep.
And he was coming on and off yesterday. In actual fact, he came on and off so much, you know, how he got any momentum. And he did a couple of good things, I think is in the third term, to actually get the Cats moving. But anyway, he's coming on and off. So
He's theatrical.
So Kane has said that he thinks that he has to lose weight. That Patrick Dangerfield has to lose weight. We're talking, and champion gets thrown around far too often in this competition. A bloke has 2 good games and he's a champion these days. Patrick Dangerfield is a champion of our game, and he'll be a Hall of Famer. Who knows? One day, maybe even a legend of this competition. And all of a sudden, Kane, he's got to lose weight. You know what? Patrick Dangerfield is a bull, not a sheepdog. He's a bull. He plays like a bull. He doesn't skirt the packs and just run.
So what you're saying is he
sheepdog.
doesn't need to lose weight. That's
What I'm saying, that's just the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. He's a tank. That's the way he plays. It's a combative sport, and he's a combative man. And right now he's not fit
What
because
do you
he's
think,
injured.
Ross?
Well, I was thinking Danger's not shy of a tweet himself, is he? So if you're listening, Danger,
Yes, he might come back
I
too.
think he's gone back at Kane before, hasn't he? He's gone into that horrible rabbit hole.
Yeah.
I don't really want to get entangled in this war that's about to erupt. 'cause-
No.
But he's a powerful man. I'd be surprised if he's overweight.
No,
And-
he didn't say.
Well,
He said he wanted to
by
push him down
extension.
for longevity over the next 3 or 4 years.
To put him in context, he didn't say he was fat or flabby. He just said he needs to slim down, and that's not Paddy Dangerfield. Paddy
the way he
Dangerfield
plays.
has had the same build for the last 10 years, and he's been
pretty
all
good.
Australian about 6 or 7 of them.
Well, really, it's been the syndesmosis injury, hasn't it? The ankle that he come back quickly from, and he's still getting back to his high level of consistency. Have you got a view on it,
Is
Joe?
that-
Because you had the weight battle.
No,
Every pre-season,
that was
you had
it's
Nonna's
ongoing.
lasagna.
that was just because of Nonna's cooking in the off season.
And your ability to eat it.
I'm not sure what this injury is. Tom, you might know more with Danger. I did think it was a cork calf, and then he got a re-corky, and then he missed weight. I'm not sure if we actually know exactly what he's been
Oh,
carrying.
because Chris Scott's been alluding to it.
Yes, they've been alluding, but I think I've always felt there's been something more to it, but no one's. And you don't want to
What's
accuse
our
anyone.
news hound got?
I was told he had a corked calf, and
Yes.
there was some blood there, and the concern was once there's some blood in the corked calf, you can obviously get the strain, and they were taking a conservative approach. That's what I was told.
Yeah.
Well, Duck, you think he's a bull. Another bull is Rafael Nadal. Now, is there anything that you would have in common with Rafael Nadal?
Oh, come on. What have you come up with, Paddy? I've got no idea. What have I
Now,
got coming?
were you out for dinner not long ago?
It's a bit of a
and-
truth or lie, but towards
A
the duck
truth or
here.
lie,
Here
or
we
a
go.
truth or duck.
Yep.
Duck. Did a lady come up to you and said, Duck, I love you. You are my favourite player of all time. And you said, yeah, I hear that a lot. You know, I was the greatest player of all time. And she said, no. So she pulled up her top to show a massive tattoo of your signature next to Rafael Nadal's signature. So just 2 signatures as tattoos on her body. One was Wayne Carey.
I did see a tattoo
Truth or duck?
of my name. Yes, I did.
We could do a
Is that
story
what
on
I've
that
got?
for the
Is
news,
that-
Brownie.
is that what
That'd
I've
be a
got-
great story for the news.
Is that what I've got in common, is it?
With Rafael Nadal.
Yeah, okay. Well, there you go. Well, I didn't know that, but yes, she was actually very nice too.
There you go.
She
Interesting.
is doing a bit of work with the Good Bloke Society. I won't mention her name because I won't embarrass her.
No,
but
but a big tattoo
it was kind of a bit of a shock when you see
Your signature.
my
And was it a
actual-
good signature, though?
Well, it was my autograph.
Right.
Not my. Not
Did you have
my,
18 on
Not
it?
my bag signature.
That's the one she wants.
Yes, no, 18. Yeah,
Yeah.
I put the 18 in the loop
Now,
of the Y.
hey, very good. Hey, we get Ross. I've been thrown under the bus to give you this one, but we love watching you on
That's
footy.
all right, I've got
on
plenty.
Footy Classified.
Oh,
but we
yeah,
have to have a go.
Yeah, how am I going?
Yeah.
Terrible.
No, you're a very smart man. And I really enjoy
What have I
watching you
done?
on the show. But something just caught my attention. What segment do you do? What caught my eye on the show? We do something.
not Ross
what
the
caught
boss.
my attention?
We might have been rolling our arm over that
I just
week.
want to get your explanation on this one, please, on Footy Classified, because something just caught my attention a couple of weeks ago, or last week.
This is radio, not TV, Joe.
That is almost the least, obviously not the head, but the most staggering and the most hypocritical in terms of consistency.
That's farcical.
So that's got nothing.
That's
Now, I want to roll
farcical.
one more before we get to the solution.
I don't say that lightly either. That's farcical. That's
As
a
in
strike.
farcical.
Yeah, farcical. Yeah.
Farcical.
Caro had to point out the correct pronunciation.
Caro's gone for the jugular there.
Look, I can't help, like, I'm sitting next to Tom Browne, right? I went to Lakeside High Reservoir, it had a 10% pass rate, very multicultural, a lot of English as a second language. And I'm going back to those teachers. If you're sitting listening to this now, you own that. I know you might say my application was terrible, but I wasn't at Xavier or Trinity.
It's
but,
true.
you know,
Melbourne
like,
Grammar,
you know,
Wesley.
Knox.
and that's why probably it's great Labor's got in. They might throw some more money at the education system to help the next little Aussie battler from Reservoir pronounce farcical to the correct way.
I love Caro. I love Caro, and to her defence, she let you get away with 3 or 4. Before she pulled you up, she thought,
There
I'll
was
let,
some respect
I'll
there.
let that one go through. I'll let that one
he
go
said it
through.
4
I'll let
times.
that one go through. And then you're just going to have to
I
touch
thought it was partial.
Oh,
Those
dear,
Harry Potter books just didn't cover
Yeah,
that
no, fair
wide
enough.
range.
Anyway.
I thought you had something else.
No,
Joe, but
that's good
No,
relief.
you
'Cause
got-
I can see your face. You got a bit nervous
Oh,
there.
sorry.
Do we need to be
No,
looking
that's
for
all-
something else, do we?
Yeah, that's all it was.
No.
Oh, dear. Very good. Hey, what about you, Brownie? Because we always like to check in with each other. And we're a bit of family here. And Brownie, we check in on you. And Duck always check in. How are you going this week? Because you going all right?
I've been going okay. Why?
Well, we just noticed cryptocurrency's just taking a bit of a big hit, Brandon. We just want to check in and
Only
make
58
sure,
trillion.
make sure you're okay because it's been a big couple of weeks in the
It has
crypto
been
world.
on bread
Are
and
you
water
all
at
right?
the moment at the Browns' house. But
Is it
Look, at this
recovered, Brownie?
stage,
you
you've
all
lost
right?
so much, it just has to be a hold. So,
Right.
and what I've told you guys to make sure that you invest or gamble responsibly. So, investing responsibly.
Yep.
I set a stop loss about 30% under everything that I buy.
Okay.
So, when that gets hit, it's very upsetting when it gets hit when it goes 30% below or 32% below and then bounces back up.
Yeah.
But on this occasion, I sold 30%, and the whole market dropped probably 50 to 60%
Okay.
on the back of one coin and an ecosystem going wrong. But long term, I've told you, it is a hold long term. So
well,
I
that's
told you,
good.
Fetch, a couple of weeks ago, it is a 2-year plan for me,
Okay.
and then I won't have to work again.
So,
If you need me to buy, I'll buy you lunch
with
if you need
respect,
lunch.
do you and your wife sit down and she sets, like, go off and invest, Nathan.
Yeah.
But here's the parameters.
Mm.
Here's the quantum. Here's your stop loss. And do you ever breach those conditions?
Look, Ross, it would be fair to say that I haven't told Christina too much about crypto.
The less she knows, the better.
She knows it's some sort of mythical being outside of what everybody else talks about. But one day she's going to be very happy with it, and
Right.
I just don't need to take her through the ups and
Okay.
downs. And,
All right.
and
She
the
just gets the
sleepless
rewards at
nights.
the rewards at the end.
Yeah, it's just the rewards at the end.
And Brownie, it's not hold in the crypto space, it's
Hodl.
hodl.
Yeah,
H-O-D-L.
H-O-D-L, it is.
As a man that went through this sort of scenario in his younger life,
Yeah.
I would suggest leave some money on the table for the next man and take your profit.
Plenty more to come on the Sunday Rub. Hawthorn up against Brisbane. Tom Browne is up next with all the news, and there is heaps flying around at the moment. For McDonald's Ream Hot Water, Triple M, Rocks Footy. Feel tough Aussie conditions when it comes to water heating. Ask your plumber to install a room, the very best we have to offer on AFL Footy today. Hawthorn, Brisbane, you got Duck, you got Ross, you got Joey, Brownie, and also this man, Tom Browne. All the news of the weekend so far.
Brownie, I'll start with the Bombers. They were the biggest discussion point during the week, and I guess the debate early this week will be whether it was a pass mark as far as Essendon was concerned last night. I want to obviously get all the opinions on the panel, but in terms of whether Essendon did respond last night, this was Ben Rutten's response post-game.
Level of disappointment there, certainly. But we're also, in terms of our response from last week, in particular around the contest, our pressure, our tackling, I thought there was an improvement there.
Also, a lot of discussion regarding flying the flag in response to Parker, obviously on Shield last week, I should say. And this was Rutten's response on that topic as well, post-game.
Probably we spoke, we didn't have the hard edge that we needed to last week. So for us, it was about making sure we're really clear on what we want to stand for as a group and how we want to stand up for each other and play a competitive, physical game of footy. There's no secrets there. That's AFL footy. So guys, I did that at a better level along with the contest stuff.
Duck, was it contrived or was it what you wanted to see in terms of a response?
No, I didn't think it was contrived at all. I thought it was an instant reaction. If something happened, we saw early, and it was a Lynch elbow, a late knock. I thought they came in. It was, like I said, it was the reaction that you would want when you see one of your players felled or I guess intimidated or mocked or whatever it might be. But I thought their effort, their tackling, their chasing, all of that was at a really high level. It dropped off as the game went on, but at the start, Joey, it was high.
Yeah.
Where they fell down was still the way they are trying to play. That's for me. And then they had a couple of key forwards. I thought Peter Wright was well held by Tarrant, but he didn't do himself any favours. He allowed to be outmarked too often, didn't bring it to ground. So they didn't give themselves a chance. They were outclassed by a better team. As simple as that.
That's right. But I thought their start was terrific. That's the standard, to play with that intensity. So some of the conversation around, every player tries, every team tries. I mean, we learnt from Ross on, there's levels of trying, and you can't say that Essendon tried as hard against Sydney as they did last night against Richmond. It was a completely different level. So that's what we had to see as a minimum. They had a crack, as Duck said. They weren't good enough to beat Richmond, but I thought it was a good response, and that's now got to be a bit of a benchmark. It can't be a one. We'll be disappointed now if it's a bit of a one-hit wonder. Yeah, and they go back to their old habits.
They went
next
from
week.
30 tackles to 64.
Well, they had 20 in the first quarter after
there
having 30 for a whole week.
I think it was a step forward. They flew the flag. That didn't interest me too much. Contested ball, they went down by 9. I think they're very competitive. But to Joey's point, they need to reflect on their mental preparation and what they did to be able to go out and perform like that. Because they haven't put the same level in the previous weeks. That's indisputable by the way they play. So they've found out they got another level of preparation, in particularly to set, I'm not saying physical, but setting the mind and steeling themselves to compete. And we know they're not a great team. And look, they struggle to take a mark inside 50, but with that base, you can move forward. Because Ben Rutten, I used to say to the boys, if we got smacked, I said, I'm not even going to review it. It'd be like having a business plan and your sales reps aren't making the calls. Like, how can you judge your plan? So I'd say when you give appropriate effort, I'll do a review. And I think that's where Ben's at, and he can see what works and what doesn't work for him, what he's trying to put across. So I liked the step forward.
How does he go about his week now, knowing that they've bounced back once? I mean, does he need to be the voice, or does it need to be the voice of the players now that say, we've got to do this not only 1 week, we've got to do it 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, or is there a responsibility on the coach to get them up weekly?
Well, you keep agitating and needling and, you got the honey, the vinegar. What do they need? They need a cuddle. But you reinforce this as a leader, you need to affirm capabilities. And what they saw was they've had a greater capability to compete than they had, or they thought they had. So he needs to keep driving that and not let them off the hook on that. You don't brutalise them, but This is what we can do. If you do this, if you do that.
But as we know, Brownie, we all played. It is not up to the coach. It's got to be self-driven, self-motivated players that bring their own effort. It can't be because the coach yells in their face that they play that way. So it's got to be on the players to have that self-drive.
So then who are those players that need to be setting the standards? Obviously the captain and vice-captain leadership group. But
my view is their talent's in the midfield. That's where their talent is. If you go Merritt, who's a really high-level player, Parrish, McGrath's a pick one. You got Martin has come in. I think you could put Shield, Smith can get, and Draper is a young. We all pump him up, and I think he flies the flag. If they're getting beaten because they haven't got tall backs or their forwards aren't there, I think you can wear that like last night. But where they got their strength, they've been underperforming. Would be my view. And you build your game from the inside out, and midfields. I think that's where they need to really start.
And just one thing, I think it's a bit of a stretch to say because Matthew Lloyd raised it, that's why they responded that way. I'm pretty sure internally they all addressed how they performed, what they need to do as a group, and they need to stick fat. So I thought it was a bit of a stretch to say that because Lloydie threw it out there, that's why the Essendon players did it this week.
But I thought we went hard on classified. I said the Ray McLean, what's the 3 words you'd describe Essendon as? Or conversely, Melbourne. So I'd love to hear, they don't have to give it up, but a journo and the presser, okay, I hear about your brand. What are the 3 words you want people to be saying about you? Or what are the 3 words that people, how are they describing you at the minute? Like amiable, nice, happy,
white collar,
soft,
polite.
You know, that's North, what were they? Like tough, relentless, long kicking or whatever it was, you know. I think that's sometimes it's as simple as that. How do you want to be described, boys, when you come off the ground today?
The Bombers won the tackle count last night 64-51, which I guess is a positive. And I think they ranked 16th in the competition for giving up score. So Richmond kicked 80-odd points last night, which I guess is a step forward in that regard as well. From a Tigers news perspective, obviously the focus will be on Tom Lynch, who had a scan this morning on his hamstring. We don't know the severity of that as yet. It doesn't look great. And obviously Lambert with that hip. That's a significant issue for Lambert because he's had hip issues before. And in the second hour of our show today, I'll play you Hardwick on that topic because he explained that he'd come back now and played 3 or 4 games in a row. The plan was for him to play 1 or 2 games in a row, and he's obviously been playing sore.
Really important to him, isn't he, Lambert?
Yep.
When you get Prestia back and they're both two-way runners, and then you're allowed to have Martin centre forward for most of the game, then you can bring back in Liam Baker, who's hard as a cat's head, who plays in the middle and is a really good player. And I think when he plays in the middle, you see the best of Liam Baker. But when those players are out, it's hard. They're spread a bit thin through that midfield.
Well, Lambert played the critical role working with Martin. Martin centre bounce, Lambert coming up in midfield, covering Martin's man while Martin's spat out forward. I'm not sure they're doing it the same now, but he was a running machine. He was as critical as anyone. And you hear about Rutten training the Lambert role at Essendon, but have they got anyone with the discipline and the run of Lambert?
Well, someone had a stat last night, and I didn't know, as good as Richmond have been for a long period, I know the last little bit, not as good. But when Lambert plays, they win 70-something% of the time. When he doesn't play, it's under 50%.
Yeah, and we haven't seen a hell of a lot of Prestia, Lambert and Martin in the same team. I think they've only played 13 times in the last 2.5 years in the one team.
A lot of people, I know, we got Dusty, but outside of that, Prestia is their most important player.
Absolutely is, yep.
Redmond likely to be cited by the MRO this afternoon for that elbow on Prestia.
He should get off that. That's a fine. You wouldn't have thought.
What about the week before Lynch's elbow? How's that any different to Lynch's?
Well, I thought it was intentional. It was high and it was clearly low or maybe no impact. So the best argument he's got is it didn't have an effect on Prestia.
Yeah, well, that's right. So Lynch actually, someone had to actually cut eye.
Yeah.
Brownie.
Everybody's favourite part of the show is the quiz. And at the moment, the tally is Duck 2, Joey 1, Jay-Z 1, and Ross is 1. Joey feels like you've. I feel like you've won more.
I think so. We're at round 10. You've got, what, 2? You've got 4 results.
Well, we've done a couple of short shows. We're getting a couple of short shows.
I reckon I've got Duck covered.
Is he just looking at the answers while you...
No, I don't do that.
Down, Duck over here.
Yes.
That's not you and Howie type stuff
Who
from
got
back in the
accused
day.
of cheating?
Jay.
Oh, Jay.
I know you when you watched the Sunday Footy show and you got half the answers.
Oh, and hang on, can I go
It's the
to
only
that?
win you've had.
You know why Duck was a great player? Because he takes feedback, right?
Yeah.
So I get my victory and, it was a question off the Channel 9 because I get up and tune in. What was the Duck watching today?
Channel 9 Footy
Channel
show.
9
You know,
Sunday
he was
Footy
looking.
show. It was about the quiz.
It was too. You were too. You clever.
Okay,
No,
so
you're
I've
not
just
bad,
been
Doug.
told
You're
that
not
Joey
bad.
was on 2, but then that got redacted because you went to the producer and complained
Duck
about
protested.
the Sydney captain one, which was one question, but unfortunately Joey won that one by 4.
Yeah.
So you take one
I
off
lost, but
and you still wins by 3.
Did you ever come second in a BNF, Duck?
Because
and then go to Dennis and say, mate, you
Well,
would have taken
our-
it up, wouldn't you?
Our system was if you missed a couple of games, almost impossible to win. So in the years that it was there, I missed 4 or 5.
And then Dennis had a few on for you.
Hey,
It's okay, son. We'll make it up.
We'll
next
make it
year.
up for you. Yeah, that's
not
800
bad.
grand you're getting in
No,
1993.
but I agree with you on the BNFs.
We'll take a bit off Rocky.
It shouldn't be the average. It should be. They
Some
should cut out your
systems.
2 worst. And
some systems, if you miss games, like Fife didn't win the year he won the Brown. Was there one year that Fife didn't win when he won the Brownlow or something? Anyway.
15. I used to make sure he won it.
Okay,
If you're
let's get
listening,
into
Nathan.
it. Have you been paying attention?
No.
Oh,
Who won the Yayukin Award in
Lily.
last? That was Lily.
yeah, that was Dion Prestia.
Dion Prestia for 1 for Joey. Just need to get my little tally
Here we
board up
go.
here. 1 for
Feeling
Joey.
good today.
Okay. Outside of the MCG, which 2 other venues have hosted?
Lily.
That was Duck.
That was Perth and Darwin.
Yes. With the name of the stadiums as well, that'd be great.
Optus and Kazali, I don't know. But
Oh,
it doesn't
hang
matter.
on,
It
no,
does
no,
not
that's in
matter.
Cairns.
I'll give it to
Oh,
him. TIO,
Kazali's in
Duck.
Cairns.
What I
Lucky.
said Darwin and
You're on notice. Get them right.
See how they all just gang up on me.
Of course we do. You're always playing with an outnumber on your
3v1.
Yes.
Get you used to it.
So the
Roll
aim
back
of the
on the
game
duck.
is Tom. You go Tom if
Yeah,
you want
Tom.
to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hey,
Oh,
Tom,
we didn't
hey,
do, we didn't do the duck, duck,
Oh, you want to
Ross,
buzz?
Ross.
Like,
Can we
let's
just
test the
buzz it?
buzzers.
Can we
Test
just
it,
test Tom's buzzer because he hasn't buzzed yet?
Oh, and mine.
Top Brown. Well, it's
And just
all
Tom
it's
will
working.
do. Don't need your whole
I
name.
was going to say, by the time you get that out, Tom will have the answers answered.
It'll be 6 o'clock.
Ross. Yeah.
Ross.
Okay, here we go. What relation is Morris Frioli
Duck,
Jr.?
Lily.
That was Duck.
Lily.
Uncle.
That is correct. Duck going to 2.
Older, younger, but
No, we didn't ask for
Uncle.
anything else, mate.
Yeah.
he's 6 years older.
Which
He's 6 years.
and
He's 6 years younger than Daniel, but
Which
he's his
young
uncle.
Essendon star penned a 2-year contract extension this week?
Duck.
Duck, duck.
Would be young Martin.
Incorrect. This should,
Ross.
this should be your area, Tom.
Jones.
Incorrect.
Lily.
Lily.
Jai Caldwell.
No.
Perkins.
No, he
It
can't.
is Perkins, so no one gets that one.
By the way, Martin did.
Nick
pen a
Martin
new
did
deal.
extend. Did.
That was the week before.
It's,
But he's not young.
So
This
once-
week.
So
He's
once,
80.
so once
that was the
again,
week before.
once again, I'm
who
get-
was the round 9 Rising Star
Lele.
nomination? Lee.
Ross.
Yeah, you can have it, Ross. I don't know.
Durden.
Yes, Ross. Okay,
I should
and
have 2.
question F. Who took over as Kev?
Ross.
Yes,
McVeigh.
he certainly did. McVeigh. All right.
He's on today, Ross.
It's a Sudafed.
Cryptic name game. A legendary player and coach whose surname can be defined as
Ross. Jeans.
incorrect. A thick rope or wire or hemp used for construction, mooring ships, and towing vehicles.
Duck. Cable.
Hang on.
I
I could hear that.
I heard that too. Yes, there's cheating.
There's something going
There
on.
is
here.
shit.
we
I
all
can hear
heard-
buried cable
we
from
all
here.
heard
There's
Barry
been some
Cable.
unauthorised intervention here.
And the producer
Hang
needs
on.
to be
Hang on.
really good looking
Hey,
himself.
Now we know.
Hang on, this
I
is a
wanna just-
Watergate moment.
This is Watergate.
Leroy,
Now,
I
this
just
has been
need to
going on
find that
for
audio
weeks.
again. Can you bring it back? We'll come back to
That's-
it, and then I'll make a decision
hang
on,
on,
what,
this
on
is
what's
huge.
happening.
This is big.
This is
That's
huge.
He should be stripped of all his
that's-
points.
that's-
He should be stripped of
No,
all his points for the
no,
year.
you are a
I have not-
Suspend
I
all
have not-
betting. Suspend all
I have
betting.
not- Hey, hang on. Don't blame me.
I want to see your contract.
Don't
If it's
blame
in
me.
there that you have to win the best and
This
fairest.
feels like there's a
Okay.
conspiracy
No,
and he
no,
has
this
to
isn't
win.
good.
He has
I
to
need
win.
you
Yeah,
to complete
yeah.
this term, a Brownlow medal winner, something and services tax.
Lily,
Yes.
goods.
Yes,
Adam
Lee.
Goods.
Well
Oh,
done.
well done. That's the one.
Joey to 2.
Good one.
A former
Don't
Carlton
try and suck up now that you've been busted cheap.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
did
yeah.
not suck
He's
up.
rattled
Suck
the
up.
day. He's rattled.
an
I didn't
Adelaide
Oh, start
superstar
again. Start again.
whose surname is also something you'd place on a horse.
Duck, duck.
Lily,
Yes, Duck.
Saddle.
Yes.
Ross.
Yes.
Cloth. Saddle cloth.
Lily,
Yes, Lee.
Reigns.
Nope.
Too long. We're out.
Eddie
Tom,
Betts.
Tom.
So bet he'd place on a horse.
Oh,
yeah,
you
get it,
played
mate?
with
thinking,
bets.
yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
nobody got that
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
Okay, Rioli. I will play you audio of one of the Riolis doing something miraculous on the footy field. All I need from you is the name of which Rioli
Ross,
it was.
Cyril. Who else did anything really?
Let's do the first one.
Now Rioli going around
Luke.
the boundary line.
Morris, Senior.
Yes. So, Joey goes to 3. Just test that buzzer again, Tom.
Tom.
Okay, thank you.
I'll tell you the real reason I'm distracted slightly in a minute. Just keep
Okay,
going.
here is
something big.
Oh, big.
the second Rioli.
Shepherd did well to arrive late. Rioli.
Cyril.
No.
Lele.
Ross.
Yes, Ross.
Daniel.
Yes. Okay.
It's all just
Just
guessing,
before we
don't
go
even
any
know.
further, Before we go any further, I just want to have an investigation into Duck's cheating. So
I did
let's
not-
go back
I
to
didn't
that
cheat.
Yeah.
and let's listen to just see if you can hear something.
Kate,
Could you hear it in the background there? Let's just play it one more
Hang on.
time. I need you to turn it right up, Leroy.
cable.
Yes, it's
Oh,
right there
now
in the
listen,
background.
just I did not
Given
cheat.
the answer.
I understand that.
I did not cheat.
So what have you said? Actually, Brownie, I can't answer that because the producer's given me the answer.
well, I
Ian.
didn't. It should have been buzzed out
Look,
anyway.
I think if it was directed to me, you could understand I need the help.
Okay.
But you, Duck.
Yeah, but I didn't. I'm just
I
saying.
know how you
I
go
didn't
home and
cheat.
cuddle
Well,
tonight and look her in the eye.
I've been told
Look him in the eye.
by the producer here, Leroy, that maybe it was into Tom Brown's ears and it spilled out.
Oh.
So
I definitely
maybe.
Well, that's okay. Then.
Okay, so we've turned it right up. Let's have a listen again.
Yep.
You put him on the
Just
Building
spot. You did
suspense.
put
He's
Leroy.
got the replay.
Anytime today.
It's quite
Definitely
clear.
there.
Yeah. Okay, Duck, I'm not going to take a point away because
What?
it wasn't you cheating.
But he
Wasn't
answered
they
it.
doing?
But he didn't get a point for it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It was his intent, though. He used it.
Jeez.
Oh, come on. If you're a lion and someone drops a zebra on your doorstep, you're not going to eat it?
It was careless, reckless, not
A
intentional.
zebra?
Who eats zebras?
Lions.
Oh, okay.
I said if you're a lion and
Here's
someone
the-
drops a
here's the
zebra.
third
$50, do you
Rioli.
pick it up?
Walker just coughed it up. Opportunity for the
Cyril.
Tigers. Rioli's going to stream
Duck,
in.
duck. Morris Jr.
Yes, Morris Jr. for Duck. So Duck
It had
now
to be
goes
because
to 3.
it had to be because
Joey
you
3,
weren't
Ross
calling the
3.
other ones.
Okay, Ross, you ready for this one? Yeah. Number 4.
Long ball.
Lele.
He leaves it for Buddy.
Duck, duck.
Lele. Yes, that was Cyril.
He's answered Cyril every
I've
time,
warmed
Ross.
myself out.
I even said, are you ready,
Well,
Ross?
he's yeah, I know.
Joey in a 4.
I felt guilty.
And here's the last Rioli.
Browne slips over as he gathers. He hand passes
Ross.
over his head. It
Yeah,
might come off okay.
No.
Answer something, Tom. You
Tom, who was it? You tell me.
You're gonna guess.
Not even paying attention,
You're gonna
Tom
guess which
Brown.
Rioli.
It's clearly Rioli.
Yeah, which one?
Can we replay it?
No, let's get on to the next one. General knowledge. It was Willie Rioli.
Willie.
So Doug Nichols round. Who was named captain of the AFL's Indigenous team of the century?
duck. That would probably be Cable.
No.
Ross.
No.
Yes.
Polly
McLeod.
Farmer. Polly Farmer, it'd be.
Oh.
Sorry. I just
Okay,
had a
Polly Farmer.
You had a brain fade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Polly Farmer, thank you.
Okay. Wonder Ross.
Wasn't he? He
Was
changed
that,
it.
he was the VFL,
Changed the
was he,
game.
the AFL?
Changed
Who
the
was
game.
named coach and rover of the AFL's
Duck.
Indigenous team of the century?
Duck.
Yes.
Now, that would be Cable.
Barry Cable. Yes, stuck it in. That goes to 4. Nearest to the pin, so everybody gets a go at this. Even you, Tom. Switch on. How many career games did Sean and Peter Burgoyne combine for?
Duck.
You-
So
you
just
don't-
closest to pin.
Ross.
Everybody gets closest to pin.
Yeah,
Go.
okay. So I'll say 623.
Well, Sean.
Oh, come on, Tom. Don't
I'll go
overthink it.
6'10".
Ross.
630.
Nah, it's closer to 700. I'll take 680.
Nah, Ross, it was 647. So Ross,
I'll tell you what,
He's
pretty
going
good.
well.
Pretty good.
How many did I get for that?
well, just the one.
The
Just
fact that I had first crack at it, I gave you a cider.
Sean Burgoyne holds the
Oh,
record.
you always
Oh,
go
no.
last, typically.
I just did my maths wrong. I wrote down 380 and 250. That is 6.
But you go to Lakeside High
Well, I
too.
did. I said 740.
Sean
That's
Burgoyne holds the record for the most AFL games played by an Indigenous Australian. Who sits second
Ross.
and third on that list?
Craig Bradley, Michael Tuck.
Oh, Lele.
Sorry, yeah, sorry.
Brownie, it was me. Duck.
No.
It was
It was me.
It was Lee.
Sorry, I forgot the
It was
indigenous. I forgot the indigenous place.
Yes, Lee.
Forgot. I think it would be Adam Goods and Michael O'Loughlin.
Duck.
No.
Be McLeod,
Yes, well done, Duck.
And who?
who you just said.
Hang on. Hey, he hasn't said second.
Which one of those?
Which one of Goods or
Which one?
Goods?
Yeah, it was good.
Oh,
Yeah. So, Duck 5, Joey 4, Ross 5. Okay, this is the Who Am I. I was born on the 11th of August, 1977, and I played 204 games across 3 clubs. I am, for 4 points, a 2-time premiership player. 1 at my first club, 1 at my second club.
Lily.
Yes.
Byron Pickett.
Byron Pickett is it.
That's a great guess.
Bang!
Joey wins the quiz for this week.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he was Duck's
Outstanding
teammate too.
work for 3 points that he got Byron Pickett. It was a great player, Duck, for you guys.
He's very good, tough.
This segment is called Truth or Lie. We've learned a lot about Ross Lyon this year and his habits of all sorts of things. There was a washing machine incident, and last week it was just a young man. He just wanted to tell him to drink bourbon and compete rather than eat his tuna and have his protein shakes. So what do we got this week, Joey?
Well, we know Ross was a meticulous preparer, and he was very big on it with his playing group. That we made, if you're prepared, what was it? If you fail to prepare, you're preparing to fail. Got to have everything ready to go. So when you get to the venue, the ground, you're ready to play. So you've got to prepare really well. So is it truth or lie, this story, Ross, that I heard that one day when you were coaching over in Fremantle, you're on the way to a game, big game, you're driving along, you realise your car's got no petrol. And instead of stopping and thinking, maybe I should fill up, you ran the gauntlet and thought you could get out to Subiaco without filling up. Well, you've broken down. You've run, well, never broken down. You've run out of petrol in the middle of the freeway, and you've had to get out in your whole Fremantle kit in the polo and try and get someone to bring a jerry can.
The purple, which suited your complexion well.
Yeah.
To bring the jerry can to fill up the car. And while you're going past, you had people snapping photos and tooting the horn, and they're going to the game. No one offered to pick you up. They're all standing there waving. Is that true? That really happened? And
Unfortunately, that is
true. Did you
true,
make the front
Joey.
page of the paper?
I did.
Is it
I
true?
did. True on all counts.
could
I
you
was
not- how
heading
could you
down the
do that?
Kwinana because you used to go up I forget the highway now, then turn left on the Kwinana. And I used to leave my keys and my wallet, I just focused on footy, lived and breathed footy. Well, whether that was a good thing or not, I'm not too sure. But so going down, had the 4-wheel drive, and then I just started to chug along. There was an off-ramp, so I just sort of rolled up, just made it up the top of the off-ramp, turned right, and just clunked out of petrol. I was like, oh, can't say it on air.
How far was it to the nearest petrol station?
It wasn't far. And then I thought, oh, God, who will I ring? Mark Duffield, the Western Australian? No. But I rang Rocky, your great mate, Rocky. He goes, mate, I'm 15 minutes down the freeway. All right. I said, mate, you got to come back. It was a 40-degree day. I'm standing in the purple. And you don't think, you get away. Rocky's come back. He's got the jerry can. We go up, and there's people filling it up, and people get back. Thanks, mate. Get to the ground. And you think you get away with it, right? And then they have a paper over there for our listeners. You could probably Google it now. The Village Bell.
The name of the paper?
It's the village for whom the bell tolls. And there's me on the front cover with the jerry can filling it up all over Twitter.
You can't get away with anything in Perth.
I'd say it was a fishbowl over there.
Did you win?
No, it was actually start of the 0-10, I think it was. It was 0-10. I think we might have lost to the Gold Coast. So it was ominous.
What would you have said to a player if he rocked up late to the team meeting pre-game
Running
because he
out of
goes,
petrol.
sorry, coach, my car ran out of petrol?
No. Well, that's where I wasn't too bad.
Yeah, okay.
I wasn't too bad. If you're a recidivist,
Yeah.
if you're a recidivist, actually, because I got asked this story about Tom Sheridan the other day and Tommy was continuously late, right? So, and the senior players had an intervention with Tommy. I was like, mate, you're late to everything. You're late on the track. You're late to the meetings. You're late to games. You're just late, Tommy. So they pulled him in and said, Tommy, you're late. And then we had this all-club meeting where they were announcing something. Might have been when I got sacked, but no, Tommy was late. Right? So then they got him in again. So then we played West Coast up at Geraldton. Stinking hot day, pre-season. You know, one of those country rooms where they got the fans running and you can't hear everything, right? So Tommy's had this big meeting with the leaders. So sit in and you have the little Gary Antelove that used to rouse everyone up, get in here, it's meeting time, get on time. And you go to start and they go, Tommy's not here. Tommy's here.
Oh, no.
After the meeting during the week, Tommy.
Did you lose it?
Why was you always late?
He'd find a new reason. So this one, I thought, we're in Geraldton. You couldn't possibly be late to this meeting. Coach, I was on the toilet. was like, Tommy. Because you guys would know everything's mapped out to the minute. Anyway, so no, because Tommy, he was a recidivist, so Tommy got a clip.
Have you ever been late to a game? Have you ever been late?
Never.
Did you ever be late? Were you coaching when there was massive traffic issues on Punt Road and we were playing? We had players leaving their car and running.
Yeah. And it can be very challenging, Marvel saving the Docklands. I was okay because I didn't want to stress the players. I'd say, and I didn't want them to have an accident. I was like, when you get here, you get here. So
Problem is, you always left early enough, and then you leave early enough, and then you get a good run, and then you're at the game
way too early.
3 hours too early.
Well, some blokes used to leave early, like 5 hours early.
Well, I'm just wondering whether that car, is it the same one, the old Subaru that used to have at St Kilda, that you used to deliberately leave unlocked, hoping it would get stolen so you could get some insurance on it?
With the keys in it?
Yeah, the Subaru Forester. The Subaru Forester. I thought I was a chance in Linton Street. Leave the engine running and unlock.
And no one ever took it.
Well, it was a horrible, horrible car. That was, we got probably the one that I think Dave Misson wrote about in the bubble, right? So I used to go to Perth, play. We're playing Fremantle, actually, and I was under pressure. It was 2011, and we just started to make our run. It was a critical game, and it was the hotel there. Used to be right on the quay, the river, and it had the hockey fields. It had this long, straight road down, and I used to be up the top, and I heard this car like just roaring, like dragging down the street. It was 1 a.m., 2 a.m., keep me awake, and I was like, this is going to keep Rewald awake. This is going to keep. I rang the jump. I rang reception.
Oh, I said,
Joey.
Joey.
Down the order. I was down the order a bit.
I said, look, can you ring the police? This car's keeping my players awake, going up and down all night, right? And they said, sir, there's nothing we can do. So I was like, kept going, 3 a.m., 3:30 a.m. I thought, I've got my jeans on, got my track, put my hat on. I walked down, out. Here's this car just going up and down, just all like lapping in Lyon Street. I stood in the middle of the road, had my iPhone out filming. And I saw him pull over about 500 metres down the road. I was like, I was off my head. So I walked in at 4 a.m. to challenge him, right?
Oh, jeez.
To challenge him, 4 a.m. And they got out of the car and they bolted into a car park. I went in there, I said, you weak dogs. Like, then I thought, what was I thinking? What was I thinking? I could have got.
Could have been anyone.
Once you know Perth, right? It was a really, really dumb move. And then I went to the breakfast in the morning, and there's Cozzy. I said, did you hear that? I said, I feel shit house. Sorry about that. I didn't sleep all night. That car going up and down. And Cozzy was like, no.
Not one player. Not one player heard the car for the whole night. It was only Rossi. We're all sitting around at breakfast here. No, none of us heard it.
We kept the dogs.
He might have dreamt that. I don't even think he got out of his hotel room.
Those 2 bottles of red and the temazepam will do that to you.
Before we go to a break, how do we think that Tommy Browne went today? Because we got him in favour of Jay-Z. He drifted off, I thought, halfway through. We got nothing out of him. And he was saying, big news coming up. There's a laid out. There's no laid out. The teams are as selected.
Scant regard to. He looked like me.
He seemed
distracted. Looked stunned on
he
the
was
quiz.
distracted. It was like he wasn't even in our program.
With all due respect, in this day and age, a laid out isn't big news.
Is he coming back or is he gone?
I think that's it. I think that's what we got out of Tom
We
Browne
might have to
today.
keep
It's not massive news, is
Jay-Z
it, to
might be
him?
back.
Well, there's a laid out.
And he came in a 3-piece suit. He was immaculate.
The way that he was texting that hard on the phone, we thought there must have been something massive.
I think it was a typical. He after the first few questions in the quiz, he's gone, I'm out of my depth here. I've got to pretend that I've got a story going on because I can't answer
He's
anything.
a strange human being, isn't he?
We need Jay-Z
But even his
back.
buzzer, Tom Brown.
We do love him, though.